Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
All right, welcome everybody into the Play Pants podcast. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan. We do have a laundry list of things that we want to get accomplished and things that we want to talk about on this episode. I think it's episode 27.
Yeah,
I'm throwing
good.
that out there. 27 might sound about right. Dave Grohl's got this book. He's actually going out and doing some spoken word stuff right now. I don't know if you've caught any of the videos of him karaokeing, playing the drums to Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's freaky. It's really freaky, but he's out talking about this book and he brings up some good points about the support system that he had, much different between his mom and his dad. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Flea has a birthday this weekend. We'll talk about him, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be our subject of our top 5 today. And I wanted to, our good friend Sig, we had talked about the old KKND days, and Sig's one of the guys, man. He's one of the dudes that was there shortly after the station got rolling. And he's involved with this NOLA by NOLA, and they're spending a lot of money. They're spending a lot of money on this festival in New Orleans. And I just kind of wanted to get from you, Jake, being there, what's the vibe of the city? Because it's hard to get a read. I don't know of anybody that's flying in from Houston. Nobody said, hey, I got to go check out these local artists that are kind of nationally known in New Orleans, but it's all clubs and everything. NOLA by NOLA is something, it's brand new. And there's going to be a couple of years. If they're going to do this for a while, it's going to be a couple of rough years.
The bummer is Rival Sons, one of my favorite bands in the last 10 years. Rival Sons were supposed to play. I know they played Houston the other night, and they were supposed to play New Orleans last night, I believe, and they had to cancel because of COVID. A couple of dudes in the band apparently got COVID.
Shit, you're kidding me.
So that was part of the NOLA by NOLA, and it's like 50, 60 bands, whatever the number is. It's a bunch of bands at all the different badass clubs, Tipitina's, Howlin' Wolf, all the places in the Maroney and in the House of Blues and all those places, loaded with bands the next couple of weeks. And I saw they canceled. I'm like, I couldn't get tickets anyway. It was sold out before I could even get them. And I was like, well, okay, maybe I'll catch them next time through. But the fact that show was sold out is a good sign. People want to go out and see music. And, for us, NOLA by NOLA is cool because it's sort of, it lit the candle. Everyone's been sitting around in a lot of the clubs. Unfortunately, a bunch of them have closed. And there's no music happening in New Orleans without music. That's like a chick that doesn't want to, like put out on a date after all the excitement you've been together forever, man. There's no happy ending is my point, right? New Orleans needs its music. And when I'm in the French Quarter, there's a band on every corner or an artist playing music on every corner back pre-COVID. And you would hear different artists up and down the street when you'd wander around. And now with, the last couple of weeks, it's just been like kind of a dude here, someone kind of over there. And it's just, music is constantly in the air in New Orleans. There's oxygen and there's music, and it hasn't been that way for a while. But this NOLA by NOLA thing is bringing it back. And I have heard different people saying, holy shit, man, a lot of people have compared it to in the old days. This is what we had almost every weekend in New Orleans. This many bands, our concert calendars, you got those concert calendars on websites were long.
I was going to say that when you look at the events and you look at everybody that's playing, that's kind of pre-COVID what New Orleans used to look like.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a good shot in the arm. It's going to be like anything. If you're going to start something from the ground floor, because face it, this was supposed to be the last weekend. I was supposed to be in, you and I were supposed to be there holding hands, making out to the Foo Fighters. Yeah, and it didn't happen. It did not happen. They had to cancel Jazz Fest. So that's where the NOLA by NOLA thing kind of came up. And Sig's a great guy. I know he's this really smart dude. He was, he worked for the Voodoo Festival for a long, long time. So he knows how to do this stuff. And he's got some serious financial backing. Now, whether or not he's got financial backing for a number of years, that I don't know. But that was about it. I just wanted to take your temperature on how you felt. Is there a vibe? Are people talking about it? Is the local media talking about it?
The local media is all over it. I mean, you see it coming up on social media constantly.
Good.
And the local newspaper online version is hitting it. They're all over the place, and that's a great thing. There's sort of like a weird double situation in New Orleans, and you know about this. There are people who are into the New Orleans scene, the New Orleans vibe, everything New Orleans. They live it, they love it, like me, like you. Okay, and then you have the suburbs that don't give a shit.
They know
what happens in downtown New Orleans, the music, the culture, all that shit. Just outside this bubble of New Orleans, it's a different world. It's strip malls and then just anywhere USA.
But that's everywhere. That's not a New Orleans. That's not a unique thing to the city of New Orleans. That is in Houston. Sure. It's called inner loop and the outer loop. Okay. You're inside the loop. Okay, great. You know what's going on and you're the cool person and you're close to downtown and everything. And then, you're out, your Metairie, Arcady. It's like, okay, I'm not going in for that. You stay out in Katy, you stay out in Metairie, you stay out in Kenner, brah.
Right.
So that's kind of everywhere,
Sure, it's everywhere, but it's like there's two different situations there. You have people who are into New Orleans and the culture bearers, as we call them, because these musicians, these iconic venues are culture bearers. When you think of New Orleans, all these little tiny elements add up to what makes New Orleans great. It's the music, it's the venues. These venues aren't, you're not just going to go see a band. You're going to a legendary venue. For instance, going to Tipitina's, you're going to rub the brass head of Professor Longhair when you go in there, and you're going to go see a great band where millions of bands have played over the years. It's like that all over the city. It's a great jumpstart, and I'm so glad that they're doing it, because nobody was really kind of leading the charge. It was just kind of everyone sitting around going, is music ever going to come back in a real way? Is this going to, because there's no deadline here with the COVID thing. It just kind of keeps trickling along and it just doesn't end. So there's no like line in the sand. And it feels like this might be at least a good starting point to kind of jumpstart all the engines, because we're going to have this NOLA by NOLA the next week or so, or whatever it is. And then we're going to have a Halloween parade in the French Quarter.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. So Halloween in New Orleans has always been great. And I've come in for it because a lot of times you get to come in for Halloween and you get to go to Voodoo Festival. Voodoo Festival is not happening, but a parade is happening. A parade on a very large scale. I mean, it's hard to compare it to, nothing compares to Mardi Gras, obviously, but it's one very big parade where it's not socially distanced. It's people coming downtown. It's going to be the throws and everything. This is some sort of a test run, I guess, to see how the city handles this.
Yeah, they're going to give it a rip. I mean, if it becomes, because you can test, like you have the parade and all of a sudden our numbers shoot up with more tracing and everything like that. Well, then there's a problem. We can't have fucking parades, and Mardi Gras is just ridiculous with the number of people that come to your city. So what they're trying to avoid is another super spreader event, which Mardi Gras, you are shoehorned shoulder to shoulder into all the bars in the city, in the streets, outside. I mean, you're just constantly squeezing up against human beings, which is the worst possible thing with the COVID situation. So they want to give the Halloween parade a test drive, see how it goes, see how everything rolls. And then, Mardi Gras is already, we're planning it. It's coming. They had a big meeting the other night and everyone's like, yeah, we're ready. We're building the floats. We're getting the throws. We're doing all our shit. We're preparing for Mardi Gras.
Gotcha.
But the mayor and the city council is like, well, let's see how things go. We got a long way to go between now and, late February, early March when Mardi Gras gets rolling. So hopefully everything goes. But going back to the NOLA by NOLA, this is a great starting point, hopefully, and I'd like to see them, like you mentioned before, let's hope this happens the next couple of years and it continues to build. They bring in more acts and it becomes a big thing. Start small and just carefully grow it. That would be a cool thing, especially in October. Normal years, there's nothing happening these 2 weekends in October anyway.
Correct. They're not up against anything. Jazz Fest is never in October. That was already a rescheduled show that got canceled. So
it could be a cool thing.
Crew of Boo. The Halloween parade that's going to be next Saturday, the 23rd. I will be at Monster Jam here in Houston.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be down at the old parade or not. It just depends on the night, weather. That's and I know I sound like a dick, but that's the beauty of living in New Orleans. There prior to COVID, any night of the week, there's a million badass things happening. So if it's raining out, you're like, yeah, fuck, I ain't going down there for that shit.
You don't sound like a dick. You sound like a pussy.
Yeah, but then you know what? The next night might be great, and there's 10 other great bands playing. So go the next night. That's right. What's so great about New Orleans. So anyway, I think.
Side note: are the strip joints, have they opened up in the quarter?
That's funny. I don't really go there anymore. As far as I know,
see if they were open though.
I think so. I think they are. I don't know if the girls are wearing masks or how that works. I want to go and find out now because that seems kind of like a cool fetish. You
could have them up on stage without a mask. Well, I guess you could have them up on stage. There's a little socially distanced. Like maybe the lap dances and the champagne and the boom boom room is not happening, but.
We've been in some of those strip bars over the years, and the mask isn't really going to hurt the problem. It's kind of actually improve the situation for some of those girls.
It might.
What?
It might.
Come on, that's just fucking mean, dude. Don't be like that.
Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers turns 59 this weekend. I believe his birthday is on Saturday,
and he's not a day over 25. Fucking that guy. He's not.
Well, he looks it. But physically, the dude is maybe 30 tops. I mean, those guys are still in wicked shape. They really are. Did we ever do a top bass player list? Because we're not doing that today. I'm not putting you on the spot. Didn't we do like a top 5 bass player or no?
You know what? Someone listening is going to go, no, you dummies never did it. I know right now people listening to this podcast every week are like, no, you dumb asses never did that. I don't think we did. I mean, I know we've done drummers because I took shit for that.
Right. But Flea would be a top 5 bass player.
He would have to be if he's not.
Geezer Butler, right?
Billy Sheehan from Tallis and Mr. Big.
Okay,
great. 3. Okay, so we're doing one. Okay, there's 3.
Steve Harris, Iron Maiden. Yeah. Steve Harris would have to be up there. Yeah, Flea would. I think Flea would be a top 5 bass player. We're not doing a Flea or a bass player top 5, but I did suggest a Red Hot Chili Pepper top 5 for our top 5 this week. Dude. Jason, how difficult was this?
And we can talk about this before we do our top 5 because it was difficult in the sense that I'm a late to the game Chili Peppers fan. You know what I mean? Like we've said that about other acts on this podcast in the past.
Yeah.
They were always there. When they came up 88, 89, 90, 91, they were always just kind of like, I don't know, those guys are fucking weird. Even Under the Bridge, I was not a big like, whoa, I got it. It's cool. Great song. It just never connected with me. I was never a song I was like, that I loved. Late to the game, Chili Peppers fan. And the more I get down the road and the more I listen to the Chili Peppers, the more I continually like them. And I can't figure out why.
I liked them back in the day. And then I kind of got, this is my classic rock, right? And I kind of get a little burned out on them. So, do you, like we always talk about with these lists, do you penalize them? Californication. Do you just, listen, great song, but man, I'm sick of it.
Right.
Do you not put Stairway to Heaven in a Zeppelin top 5 because you're sick of it? But it's our top 5. And that's where we're always able to escape. People will give a shit anyways.
Which is great.
But it's my personal top 5. So I don't need to hear Californication anymore. Right. It's a great song though. I mean, it really is a great song.
I better cross that one off my list. I sound like a dick now. Oh, shit, ruined that one. Just
huge.
Kidding.
It's a huge song.
Going back to the Chili Peppers. So I know that a lot of people are like, oh, they fucking write the same song over and over again. I thought so for a long time, but then digging around, even today, I was like, yeah, no, they haven't. Their songs are very different. And what's great about the Chili Peppers, if you start digging past the obvious same 4 that would get played on the radio constantly, sorry about that. They got a very different sound, and they've never been afraid to use different instrumentation in their songs. You go to the grunge era, fuck, man, if it ain't drop, what is it? Drop E or whatever that stupid guitar chord is, and guitars.
Drop
and
D, I think.
Drop D.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. You know what I mean? Like, you stay in your lane. Chili Peppers got pianos, they got brass bands, they got everything in their songs. They've never been afraid to try different shit. And I think as I've grown older with the Chili Peppers, I've grown to appreciate the shit out of it a lot more, you know? And again, I don't need to turn on the radio and hear, you know, certain Chili Pepper songs and be like, ugh, because I've played them for 100 years. And I'm playing them now on classic rock radio.
Okay, so what's played on classic rock?
Under the Bridge. Shit, I can't remember now. Under the Bridge is definitely one.
Okay.
None of the newer shit. It's gonna be the Stevie Wonder cover.
Higher Ground.
Higher Ground, occasionally, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, but only for special shit, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, we're playing one or two songs from the Chili Peppers, not a lot. But
Okay.
it's weird how, you know, I remember playing a lot of this shit when it was new, and now I'm playing it on classic rock. It's so fucking weird. What a weird mind trip that is, dude. Very strange. So why don't you go first?
Okay.
Wait. Because we're gonna have our critics. Because there's people like, fucking Chili Pepper songs, or every song's the same. Get that? I got it. But just in all fairness, Rod, they've sold over 80 million albums worldwide. That's like,
they're Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, there's no question how huge they are.
They've won 6 Grammys. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you don't have to like them, but you got to give them credit for fucking still being around at 59 years old. And they got a new album coming out next year. You know it's coming out. Frusciante's back in the band, which, by the way, is when all the good shit is done. But we can get into that later when he's in the band. So, you know, they keep going. They're a band that can play fucking stadiums too, you know, in certain cities.
They're an arena band for sure.
Absolutely.
So there's no question there. I saw them at the New Orleans Arena, and a young band called the Foo Fighters opened up for them.
Wow.
That was a hell of a show.
Yeah, I bet.
The New Orleans Arena, probably 2002, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm guessing on the year. You can't touch the band live. That's the one thing I will say. If I'm sick of the Chili Peppers, because we play a lot of Chili Peppers. I mean, that is a format band, and it still tests well. We play a lot of it. So some of it becomes wallpaper to me a little bit. But when we do these lists, you kind of have a more appreciation. And do I punish a song? Do I punish a great song because I'm sick of it? Well, I can, because it's my list.
That's right. That's what's great about it. You can still appreciate it. You just don't have to fucking put it on at your house ever again, you know?
We saw them, I don't know, 4 years ago now. Trombone Shorty opened up for them here in Houston, and they played the Toyota Center, which is like your Smoothie King Center. So, you know, that's a band that consistently can always do 17,000 people,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. All right. Number 5, Can't Stop.
Love that song.
Can't Stop. Frusciante and Flea and them, those two guys working together. Anthony just ruins it. Anthony's not my favorite singer. I've said this before. I just like Anthony Kiedis is just not my guy. Seems like a nice enough guy, and you know he fits the whole package and live, and it's great. He looks great and everything. He's just not on the level of the musicianship that's in that band. I mean, he's the lead singer is the weakest link of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I will fight anyone on that. Change my mind. I'm sitting behind a table with a cup of coffee. The weakest link in the Chili Peppers is their lead singer. Hands down. Hands down, because Chad's a really good drummer, man.
The thing about that though is that, you know, it's the sum of its parts. It's the, Flea, you can't touch him. You know, whatever guitar play they got, it's always been great in the Chili Peppers.
Right.
And yeah, Kiedis, but it's the sum of the parts. He fits. Who the fuck else is going to sing with that mess? You know, all that fighting, the bass and the guitar player, they almost sound like they're always fighting in the songs because they're so different and stuff. But it's if you don't have that ingredients in the gumbo, dude, it's gonna taste like shit.
The guitar and the bass work on Can't Stop is just it's awesome, and it should be higher up on my list, and I have it in at number 5.
You've seen that video? Wait, don't go to 4 yet. Hold on. Pump the brakes. The video for that song is so fucking weird and good. All their videos are the video. It's like these little mini art projects along the way, and they're all in like these they're sitting in garbage cans, and they're, Anthony Kiedis is like singing down this weird like air conditioning duct tube, and it's very fucking awesome. And it just adds to the song.
The video for that to save my life.
Now you know what you're doing later.
In at number 4, I'm going old. This is with their original guitar player. The one that passed away that they wrote the song Under the Bridge about. 1987, Behind the Sun.
Ooh.
This song was buried. This song was buried because of the texture of the song. It wasn't until Under the Bridge was such a huge hit. Then they said, hey, wait a minute, let's get that out there. Right. And I don't think I originally knew the song in 1987 either. That was from the Uplift Mofo Party Plan album. I don't think I came in on Mother's Milk on Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I didn't know them yet. And when they kind of reintroduced that song, they were just pushing that funk sound at all. That's all they were doing in the 80s. It was all about the funk, and they wrote this great song and they buried it. And then they put out like this weird greatest hits, and the song was on there. And I said, what is this song? Behind the Sun is a great song. And then MTV picked up on it too, and they rode the wave with that. So it was weird. This older song was charting. That's my number 4, Behind the Sun. Number 3, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Not the first single, not the second single, not the third single. The 4th single, Breaking the Girl. I do love that song, and we play that song. That song does come up in fairly regular rotation on the buzz here. And I just think it's a great song. And I do remember that video. I remember Flea in that. It was the first time I saw one of that. What's that unitard where you're wearing it over your face and everything? It's like the green screen suit.
Oh, yeah. I know.
The guys were kind of wearing it at sporting events and stuff. Flea was the first one I saw wear that. And he was gyrating like a monster.
Yeah, he's got no bones.
Breaking the Girl is an absolute great song. And I don't mind Anthony Kiedis' voice on that song.
And he's actually trying to sing. Yeah.
There is a couple of songs that he can kind of sing. And you're right. I mean, it works. His voice works on Suck My Kiss and that sort of thing. But he actually can sing on Breaking the Girl. So Breaking the Girl is my number 3. Nice. My number 2, I know it's a cover, but Higher Ground.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's kind of Mother's Milk. That's where I came in on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was the song that got me into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I've always had a love for it. I thought it was a great cover. It's far superior to Roller Coaster. I know that was another big cover. They've actually done a bunch of cover songs over the years, but Higher Ground is just, and again, we're talking about Flea's birthday this weekend. So that one kind of features Flea right out of the gate. And it's one of the all-time great covers, I believe.
Absolutely.
And my number 1.
This ought to be good.
It's going to be out there, dude.
That's okay.
From the album One Hot Minute.
Wow.
And that's the length of time Dave Navarro was in the band. But because it sounds like a Jane's Addiction song, the first single was called Warped.
Yes.
And the video was amazing. And it sounded exact, because I love Jane's Addiction and I love Dave Navarro. I do. I loved Dave Navarro in the Chili Peppers. Yeah. I love that he got out of the Chili Peppers. It was perfect for me. It was absolutely perfect. I love that album. Aeroplane is on there. My Friends is on there. There were great songs on that album, but Warped, when I heard that, 1995, you and I were pretty new in New Orleans, and they sent a cassette. And it was the One Hot Minute sampler, and it was 20 seconds from every song. And from the clip they sent, I was hooked. And the video is great. If you remember, I think Dave and Anthony Kiedis kiss at the end of the video. It's just everything's weird about it. It looks like, hey, we're going to let Jane's Addiction throw up all over this band that is already wickedly established. I thought it was a great marriage. I loved everything about Dave in that band. He got in, he got out, and they put out an amazing album. One Hot Minute is arguably my favorite Red Hot Chili Pepper album. And I love John Frusciante. I think he's a genius. I really do.
Maybe that was part of the problem. Was everyone in the Chili Peppers was like, fuck, we sound like Jane's Addiction. You know what I mean? Maybe that was part of it, or the drugs. I mean,
they kind of were, they put on the eye makeup and everything, and they totally went Jane's.
Yeah. Dave had a big influence on that band. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rod, because I remember this. We were working at the Edge in Buffalo, and Vince was our boss. We've talked about Vince many times on this podcast. And he's the one that kind of got us our start in Buffalo and then brought us to New Orleans. And the single came in for Warped, and he told you, and he said, look, and this was back when radio was real competitive because there's other alternative stations in the market and stuff. And there's this long intro on it, I remember. It's kind of a long, slow, just fucking intro. And then all of a sudden, it just comes
I mean, total Navarro.
Yeah. So he said, I remember him telling you, go, hey, look, okay, I got the brand new Red Hot Chili Pepper song. We're probably not supposed to be playing it yet because there were rules back then. There kind of are now. He says, but you talk over that long 45, 50-second intro, okay? Because I don't want some other radio station recording it off of us and then playing it and then claiming victory.
So did we play that for the first time in Buffalo? Because it was 95, and that's the year that we...
Because we were at the fucking fair. I think we were broadcasting from the damn Erie County Fair, and you're trying to go, well, how long is the fucking intro? And you're out there doing it, and we were playing it like once an hour because it was like
you're right,
thing, man.
And that cassette came in too in Buffalo, and it was the sampler, and it was just all those little clips of the songs. Holy shit, I forgot that was in Buffalo. Yeah.
We had the single, and Vince was always great about getting those songs early, man. And we would, and then of course you get the facts. The cease and desist. Hey, you're not supposed to be playing this, and he'd be like, oh yeah, sorry. Oh. Yeah, dude. And he said, Rod, you talk over the fucking whole intro so no one can record it. I'm like,
I forgot about that, dude. I forgot about that.
Yes, I mean, that's what's great about those opportunities in radio. But yeah, Dave Navarro in Jane's Addiction. I love that album. I do.
I don't think a lot of people, when you're talking about the Chili Peppers, are going to go to that album. They do have a huge body of work. That's why it's my top 5, and I'm ready to take shit. So, I mean, dude, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, we just talked about that album. 1991 came out on the same day as Nirvana's Nevermind, which I was more excited about the Chili Pepper album than I was Nirvana because I didn't really know Nirvana. So I got the Chili Pepper album. I did not get Nirvana when it came out. I didn't get Nirvana until 3-4 weeks after it had already been out. So I was all about that Chili Pepper album. And then here's me going to that classic album. And I'm in my top 5 is the 4th single from it.
Well, I'm just looking at my top 5. I don't even have anything from the Dave Navarro One Hot Minute.
Nobody would. Nobody would.
And I love that album. I love that album just as well. But dude, the longer I looked at these songs from the Chili Peppers, the longer I just went, I had 7. I had top 7, and I literally flipped the coin on 2 of the songs to get rid of them. I couldn't do it. And I'm not even a Chili Peppers fan. That's what's great about these top 5 lists, man, because every time we do them, people chime in. Oh, you guys suck. You missed this song. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. And then I go and listen to it. So this is all about music discovery. You don't have to agree with our stupid lists. I've learned about so many songs I haven't heard in years, or new songs I haven't heard ever, that people keep turning me on to. So this is just fucking great for me.
Dude, okay, and then I'll let you get into your list, but you're right, like how we discover things on this show. I did not know that Led Zeppelin song, the Tiles.
Out on the Tiles? Oh my God, fucking great.
Okay, so I didn't know that song.
Shit for it.
So I didn't know that song at all.
So good.
And then I had it on my list. I'm like, okay, go back and listen to it. Just even out of respect for your list. I'm like, okay, I'll get around. I'll go listen to it. And then I'm driving around and I'm in my wife's car who, here's a big bombshell on this podcast, but she's got Sirius XM satellite radio in her car. And
Can't fucking stand your show.
I don't know what. Yeah, she doesn't listen. So I don't know what. It's some specialty show like a Jim Florentine,
Oh, okay, the
metal
guy.
midgets show or something like that. And it just because it's not in rotation anywhere. And it was like the week after we did your list or our list, and that song's playing. And I think I took a picture of the radio inside the car, and I said, "Dude, your fucking song is on. I'm hearing it for the first time, and it's really good."
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not your top tier Zeppelin songs, but it's just got a cool swagger to it. That's what I love about it. It's got this cool groove to it, And I don't know, whatever. So yeah,
let's go, Ginty. Red Hot Chili Peppers,
you ready?
top 5.
You ready for this, dude? I'm gonna fucking out of the gate. I'm dropping mics out of the gate on this one, dude.
Let's go.
There's a song on Mother's Milk from 1989. It's fucking great. It's called Subway to Venus. Nobody knows it. I'm the only dick who fucking plays it. I love that song. 3rd track on the album.
I don't remember it.
So fucking super funky. They got horns in it, brass band playing. It is so freaking great. And that's what I love about it. And going back to Kiedis Can't Sing, he sounds like a cross between like fucking Grover from Sesame Street. And it's like he's in a loaf of bread in his mouth. Like when it's early shit. It's like, oh, this is bad. But it's so fucking good. And if you love that whole funk style of the Chili Peppers, go check out Subway to Venus from Mother's Milk. It's fucking great. In at number 5. Going back to my earlier comment about John Frusciante, I mean, I've just fucking getting on the Frusciante train in the last year or so. Because every time he comes back to the band, the Chili Peppers put out a fucking great album. And I love the song from 2006's Stadium Arcadium. And it starts nice and easy and slow, and it just continues to build and build and build. The song called Snow. Hey-O. Love that song. It starts, and then it just keeps going and going and building and building. And it's just fucking badass. Number 3, and again, maybe I dug a little too deep on this. Maybe I shouldn't go so deep cuts on these top 5 lists, but my fucking list. So 2011, the album was I'm With You, a song called Monarchy of Roses. Okay, that's the album, just to kind of go back in time a little bit. Rain Dance Maggie was the hit off it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's the album with a little fucking bug and a pill on it or some weird shit. It's all white.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that song, but then I started digging around on it, and that fucking album is so good. It's a little polished. It's a little clean, a little hit. Trying to get hits off of it. Monarchy of Roses. Go dig it up. It's one of my running songs, so I hear it all the fucking time. Super excellent groove. They got the female background singers near the second part of the song. They just come in, and it's fucking great, man. And the video for Monarchy of Roses is sort of a black and white animation video with a band. It's pretty fucking cool.
Did they really? Was that a single?
I don't even know if it was a single, to be honest with you. It should have been. When you listen to it, you go, fuck, Ginty's right again. Damn it. I hate it when he's right. Number 2, you had it number 5. I got it number 2, Can't Stop, from 2002's By the Way album, which is fucking great. What I love about it, the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh. But then afterwards, I'm like, oh. The background vocals where Frusciante's like doing that, I'm not going to sing. But he's like kind of doing this layery fucking background vocal when Kiedis is rapping Can't Stop. It comes in like, and it repeats throughout the song. First time I heard it, I'm like, why does that sound off to me? That sounds weird. But then now I listen to it, I go, that's fucking perfect. That's fucking perfect.
That dude is he's so next level.
Genius.
He's a musician's musician, and he's got a fascinating story. I mean, he's fallen on hard times before, and
teeth falling out and everything else.
Yeah. He's had it rough. He's had it rough for sure. Okay, Can't Stop in at number 2. I had that in at number 5, and that is our first crossover.
I think it's our only one, because at number 1, and I fucking love this song. I love it. They must have did a lot of studio work with Kiedis in this one. And the harmonies in this song are fucking great. I know it got beat to shit on the radio for a long time. You might still be playing it. By the Way, from that album, 2002. That's the one with a video where Kiedis gets kidnapped by the weird 80s taxi driver. He's got the half shirt on.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
We play the shit out of that.
I know, and you're sick of it.
It's a good song.
It just fucking drives throughout the whole thing. It's not, I have it at number 1. I probably shouldn't, but God damn, I was thinking about it when the Chili Peppers
Standing in line at the show tonight.
and if you put the headphones on, and you listen to the harmonies on that shit, fucking awesome. The harmonies, you can just hear them. They're swirling around in your head. They are really, really well done. The Chili Peppers,
jackknife, flat top. Another word.
Putting in my boots. Yeah.
Did you know we're from California? I'll send you a link.
Yeah. No, they're always from California.
We have this song, Doobie-Doo. Did you know we're from California? Have you ever seen this?
Yes. Every song is about fucking California, it seems like, on the radio.
But you've seen like the animation that somebody made. They're making fun of the Chili Peppers.
No. I've heard parts of it. I just never sat
Okay, I'll have to send it to you. I play it on the air all the time. I mean, you got to be able to poke fun at the people that you're playing a little bit.
Absolutely, but
by the way, is one of the. It's like, okay, guys, we know you're from California. We got it. Okay. I wonder if this is the one they're going to tell us that they're from California again. It's all right.
I think Anthony Kiedis just gets out like a map and just starts fucking rhyming states in half of the songs. And then he's got to finish up with some sort of name drop of California, or he's afraid he's going to like lose his driver's license or something, man. It's just weird how he does it.
So right before I am getting ready for the podcast, and we're recording on Wednesday night, and I see out the window and I'm like, oh damn, my dog's got to go out to whiz. We're recording at about 7:00 p.m. We start recording usually. It's 6:30, and I still got some notes, and I want to get ready. I want to prepare for the podcast, and I haven't gotten the mail yet. So I open the door, doggo. Go get the mail. Well, there's neighbors having a beer. Come on, Rod, have a beer. I'm like, guys, I got to get ready for the podcast. No, I'm like, just come on. I'm like, you guys suck.
Wednesday
so I go run over there.
Jesus.
I go run over there. Yeah. The kids are all out and stuff like that. But, you're having a beer, just catching up. They asked what we were talking about. I told them top 5. Sundeep sent me his top 5. Would you care to hear across the street from me, Sundeep? Here we go. My top 5 jams after thinking it over, because they were all very helpful. In at number 5, this is my neighbor across the street. Around the World.
Love it.
In at number 4, Give It Away. Number 3, My Friends, because I brought up One Hot Minute to him and I told him what a great album that was. And he said, you know what? You're right. That is a great album. He wasn't originally talking that, but he said this is, of course, Sundeep after thinking about it. My Friends in at number 3, number 2, Breaking the Girl, and number 1, Suck My Kiss. That's a really good list. I mean, from somebody, that's a great list from somebody that doesn't work at a radio station. He said the Red Hot Chili Peppers are not his favorite band. He said they're just like the Rolling Stones. They've been around. He's a little bit younger than us. He's like, they've just been around forever. He looks at them like this band that's always been there. It's a pretty good list. When you're not sick of them and playing them as a part of your job, Give It Away and Suck My Kiss. Those are strong, man. Suck My Kiss.
Brutal.
What a fucking great song.
Fucking
I
great.
mean, it just, what sounded like that? Nothing.
Well, think, what was it? 88, 89, 90, 91. Okay. Chili Peppers, they don't sound like all the Seattle shit at all.
No.
But without the Chili Peppers, the whole alternative movement that happened in the early 90s, it doesn't go as far as it went. It didn't explode without the Chili Peppers being around. You know what I mean? It just didn't, because alternative radio still Chili Peppers. Still.
You got to give a lot of credit to the Chili Peppers for being there early on. Anything that like hit pre-Nirvana, that was big. Jane's Addiction, same thing. I always look to Jane's Addiction as the spark. I really do. Yeah. Jane's Addiction, for what we call alternative, I always view them as the spark. But you gotta look at the Chili Peppers as another band that kind of, they at least unlocked the door. Of course, everyone's going to agree Nirvana blew the door off the hinges.
Sure.
But bands like that, and I know REM was around, and I know there was other quote unquote alternative bands around, but you got to go to Jane's Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers for real. Somebody's going to argue and they're going to talk about the Pixies and the Posies and everything else. There were a ton of bands that were but we didn't call it alternative. And if you really want to give credit to somebody, you got to go with Perry Farrell. you know, and him kind of coining an alternative and Lollapalooza and taking this stuff out on tour. He's the guy, you know. I do kind of consider him the godfather of everything. I do. Perry Farrell is like the genius behind everything that, you know, that I've ever done, you know, and I thank Nirvana all the time because I think that's why you and I had jobs, you know, because of Nirvana. But before that, I mean, I'm trying to think of another band. Who am I? I'm probably grotesquely. I mean, REM and U2, I got all that, but
those were different sounds. Those were kind of lighter, happier, mellower, you know,
right,
compared to like Jane's Addiction, Chili Peppers, all that tempo and all that stuff. You know, Faith No More was digging around in that world, you know, but we're talking about a lot of these bands, Pixies, that never had that mainstream success. I mean, Faith No More,
right, Living Color was there. There was a ton of bands, but not like this. Not like this. And the Chili Peppers, far more successful than Jane's Addiction. I mean, there's no question. There's just no question about it. Yep. But I just don't think we would be anywhere without Jane's Addiction. So an important band. But it's funny to get a list from somebody right out of the gate. So thank you to Sandeep for sending that over.
That is what's cool about these top 5 lists. Like I said many times, it's like, man, I still got a bunch of movies I got to go watch. I still got a bunch of music I still got to listen to. I've listened to a lot of people's suggestions in the comments on YouTube or on our Facebook page and Twitter or Instagram. By the way, follow us at PlayPantsPod and smash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. But I read the comments and, you know, I'll go dig around some of these songs and I'm like, oh yeah, that dude nailed it. Or now that is a piece of shit, but that's okay. That's their piece of shit. And it's okay if they like it. I don't care. You know, that's what's great about these top 5 lists. It's about, if you don't look at it as my list is better than yours. And if you look at it as, holy shit, I never heard of that song before, I'm gonna check that out. And look what happened with Out on the Tiles for you. There's, you know, for the Cornell song that you told me that he did, Stay With Me, Baby. I still fucking crank that song. My kid's like, am I right? My kid's in the back of the car on the way to school, and he's like, Dad, she ain't coming back. I don't care how many times you play the stupid song. She ain't coming back to that guy. I'm like, oh, wow, he's listening to the lyrics. I might better choose my songs a little more wisely from now on. Well, I bow down to the Nirvana album. I have it here in my house. And anytime my kid says something like, hey, I would like a new fishing pole, or I would like that, I think back to that Nirvana album, because if it wasn't for fucking Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic, there's no me doing what I'm still doing today. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, I might have had a little run in radio. I might have done it for a little while, but I got on that wave to, you know, the Chili Peppers love to surf, to use that analogy, man. I'm fucking on that surfboard still. And it's because of the wave we caught at the very beginning. We paddled out and we took some lumps, but we got on that wave and we still ride it.
So Flea having a birthday this weekend. Is he a top 5 bass player?
He has to be. How can he not? He's fucking great. And he's a musician. I mean, he's not just a goofy, you know, he's not just a bass player. You know what he's got this cool thing he does in
I don't know if he's top 5, bro. I'm scratching some names out. Go ahead.
Let's do this next week. I can't fucking think of any bass players.
No, we don't have to. No, we don't have to do it. We don't have to do it. I'm just saying. So, okay, Geddy Lee, is he going to be in your top 5?
Should be, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, just for what he has to do, sing and play the bass and the keys and the foots and all that shit, the foot pedals and all that. I mean, come on.
Okay, you got to. Geezer Butler's number 1. Geezer Butler, Sabbath, number 1. And then Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, 2. I'm gonna get in a fight, but you got Robert Trujillo and Kirk Hammett. You know,
wait.
I think Robert Trujillo is a better bass player. Kurt Hammett just
no. Kurt Hammett's the guitar player. Cliff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cliff Burton.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Cliff Burton was smart, but I just don't think he was around long enough. And I'm putting him. Robert Trujillo, Cliff Burton, Rex from Pantera, Flea. I don't know if there's room for Flea in the top 5, dude.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. You know what? We'll have to put that. We'll put that one in a pin. Put it on a post-it note. We'll set it over to the side because we'll.
If you guys want to do extra credit, send me your top 5 bass players. Just send them to me. I want to
send it.
I want to see it.
Put the comments up there. I would love to hear what people got to say. Rod, we're coming up. We're going to talk about Dave Grohl's got a book out. What doesn't this fucking guy do, man? Holy shit! When's he sleep? You know.
It's insane that he's doing like some kind of spoken word thing, and then he's going to go back out on the road with the Foo Fighters. It's insane. The guy doesn't stop.
It's awesome. And then we're going to talk about, you know, his dad wasn't really supportive of him, but his mom was super supportive. So I'm sure we've got some stories that we can tell him in our own situations here coming up in just a second. But first, I want to talk about Lucky's Pub West, I-10, and Barker Cypress. College football is really heating up now all day on Saturday. And when I say all day, I mean all day on Saturday. Then on Sundays, it's all the NFL games. Plus, the Astros postseason continues. Holy
Dude,
shit.
don't bury the lead, man. The Astros, baby.
The Astros just keep humming along, man. It's awesome. And then, you know what? I know nobody gives a shit, but maybe 7 people in the South. Hockey's back. The NHL is back. I'm basically talking to you about it right now. Yeah, hockey is back. It doesn't matter what you're going to watch. You can see it all on over 40 TVs with great game day specials. The food is incredible. They got the best pizza on the best side. And be sure to order a pile of their killer wings, and the burgers are incredible. And you got to get those famous Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. And coming up, you ready, man? You got your wax, you got your car polished up, man. You ready to rock and roll? The first ever Boobs Rock Car Show. That's this Saturday. Right?
Yeah, dude.
October
I got
16th.
100 cars pre-registered.
Holy shit. That's
100,
awesome.
100 cars pre-registered. And then you could register Saturday morning as well. Get down there about 9:00 in the morning. You want to get in.
Cool. You know what? I love going and looking at old cars and just cars in general. When guys take care of their motorcycles or cars, I love that smell. I don't know what it is, man.
I'm excited. I really am.
It's going to be awesome, man. The first ever Boobs Rock Car Show Saturday. All the details are on the Lucky's Pub West Facebook page, Lucky's Pub West, I-10 at Barker Cypress. Fuck. Cars.
So Dave Grohl, they're releasing excerpts of his book, and he's doing this spoken word thing, and he's talking. He's always talked about his mom. He did a whole show. He did a whole series of rock star moms, and it's him and his mom. And he talks about, becoming friends with Geddy Lee's mom, who I think recently passed away, but it's rock star moms. And Dave's just constantly talking about his mom. I know that his mom was a school teacher, and she let him quit school. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh. Your mom's a school teacher, and he said, "Mom, it's not working, man. I want to play music. I want to do this thing." And he always has talked so much about his mom being so supportive. And this is the first time I've ever heard, because I didn't really know much about his father. He said that his dad didn't support his musician dreams. Obviously the guy's gone on to be one of the most successful rock stars of all time. I don't know if his dad's still around or what, but his dad, because Dave grew up in the DC area, was a conservative Republican speechwriter. So rock and roll wasn't his thing. He wasn't a music guy. And he said that his father kind of imagined him doing something else. And
right.
He said his dad came to see him play, and, eventually kind of realized, hey, my kid's pretty good at this. But it seemed like mom was the support, and dad was, when are you going to stop worrying about your kid? Never, right? And you want what's best. I know at the time it feels like, man, one of my parents is being super lame and they don't support everything I do. My mom didn't let me do whatever I wanted. I can tell you right now, if I walked in and told my mom I'm quitting school, she would have lost her shit and said, "No, you're not." There's no way. There's just absolutely no way. But I thought it was interesting that, now that Dave's a parent, he said he's got a 15-year-old kid that, wants to get into music and wants tattoos and everything. And he's like, just hold on. But interesting to hear that his dad didn't exactly support his dream. And I was just kind of curious because, Jason and I, we come from similar backgrounds. I'm sure, we didn't grow up in the same neighborhood, but everyone had the same house. Everyone had the same 1,500 square foot home. Your parents worked, you went to school. And then, when it came time to going to college, it's just like, what college? Where's all that money you guys have been saving for me for college? What are you talking about?
There was,
no. What? My parents just didn't, they weren't thinking that I was going to college, or anything like that. And I didn't think I was going to college for a long time because I did play in bands, and my parents were super supportive of it. I didn't come from a big musician family. So I don't know where my sister played the bass. I played the drums. And this is what I kind of wanted to ask you about. It's next level when your kid plays the drums. It's just next level kind of stuff. Sure, the kid next door played the French horn. Tom Conley was blaring and blasting that damn French horn. He practiced his balls off, and that was going all the time, and he was upstairs in his bedroom. And, that had to be rough on the house. But drums are next level, okay?
Beating.
The violin, the trumpet, the piano, there's nothing worse than having a drum set in your house. And my mom was so cool about it. She forced us to practice. When she didn't hear the drums, she was saying, hey, I don't hear any drums. She'd yell down. The drums were in the basement. So it helped a little bit. But you have a drum set in your house. You don't have a basement in your house. So
no.
How often is Hank playing those drums?
Well, he just got back into taking the drums again. I mean, with COVID, everything has been virtual. It's been a shit show the last year or so. So he's just gotten back because summer vacation's over, summer, recess from school's over. So he's back on the drums. So he's got the class every once a week. He'll do a half-hour session with his teacher, and then he practices probably 2 or 3 times throughout the week. But even he knows that they're a beating because they're in my office / studio where I do the podcast from. And I'm sitting here looking at him right now, and he's just got, he's got a nice little set. It's a good set. And even he said it was like 7:00 one night, and he goes, we gotta hammer the kid, like, go practice your fucking drums. Go practice your drums. You got to push a kid, because they're not going to practice. He's like, yeah, but it's like 7:30 and the drums are loud. Aren't the neighbors going to be pissed? I go, like, you worry about I'll worry about the neighbors. You worry about playing the damn drums. I said, get your ass up there and go play the drums. And he's like, all right. Like, even he knows that drums are a beating, literally. And but yeah, it's loud as shit. But he also plays the piano, and he's more into the piano. And pianos are fucking loud too, man.
Pianos are usually in the middle of the house too.
And they're right there by the TV, and it's like, okay, time to practice. I'm like, fucking game's on, bro. No, play that. The game can wait. Piano first, always. And what's funny as a parent is when your kid is starting out, it is fucking brutal. It's just brutal because they suck. Like anybody does. They suck. But he's been playing piano and doing these music classes since he was like 3. Like starting out, and they teach him all different rhythms and shit. And then they gradually go on to piano in the program he took. And now he's actually playing shit. I'm like, oh, wow, that's freaking cool. He can actually play songs, and he'll make up his own riffs and songs and melodies and all this stuff. And I'm like, damn, this is cool, So
does he ever talk in terms, because I couldn't wait to jam with other people. I mean, my trajectory of playing the drums was I played the damn snare drum forever. Just one drum, and I had to learn all the rudiments, and I had to do my 5-stroke roll and my 7-stroke roll and all that. I had to do my flams, and I had to read sheet music and everything. I had one drum. And before that, I started with a practice pad. And then my parents invested in a drum, the snare drum, where I just stood there and I played it. And I did that for 2 years. And then my dad invested in a kit. And then it became, hey, we're putting money into this. Let's go. You have to practice. We had to practice every day. We had to play every day. I think maybe we were allowed. I think we had Sundays off. That was it. We had to practice every day for 45 minutes every day. And we went to a place, we went and took lessons. So there was a timer on the oven, and my mom would set it to 45 minutes. And my sister would go in her room, and she'd be sitting around reading magazines and stuff because she was playing the bass. She wouldn't plug it into her amp. She would just, she wouldn't plug it in. She wouldn't have to, but my mom said, okay, as long as you're playing, as long as but the drums, you can't, if you're not playing, you're not playing. You can tell that you're not playing.
Oh,
I would come upstairs, get a drink of water. I'd move the timer a little bit. I'd come to go to the bathroom. I'd come ask my mom a question. She's like, get downstairs and practice. That went on for years, bro. That went on for years. And I got to the point where I didn't like it anymore, but they spent money on a kit. So I had to practice. I went from wanting to play the drums and begging my parents to You know what? I'm kind of over it. Nope, you're not over shit. Okay. We paid the money. Now you're playing. So I was forced to practice.
Right.
There was a period that I didn't love it. And then something happened when I got a little bit older and I put on the headphones and I could play to a song. And I went, holy shit, I can play a Kiss song. And I'm playing Kiss songs. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. It took that. I know kids like go to School of Rock and stuff, and you've talked about Henry, and it wasn't really a great thing for him. No. There was no such thing, for me. It was just old school learning unfun things. They didn't go out of their way to make it fun for the kids and for me. But when I put on headphones and I could play a song, I lost my mind, and then it was over. And then I played every day on my own. I didn't take lessons anymore. And then I kind of took lessons from different guys on the drum set, and that was it. But all I wanted to do was like get and jam with people. I wanted to play with people. Does Henry want to play with other people? Like, does he see himself like does he want to be in a band?
He's never mentioned it. He's never said a word. He loves music. He loves rock bands. He loves all these bands that we talk about every week on the podcast. He's into music. He likes it. He's never really said shit about jamming with somebody. Now,
but he's got a drum set there. He must have a buddy that plays guitar, right?
Yeah, I know he's got buddies, but
they don't ever say, hey man, I'll bring a guitar over and we'll jam.
We got this weird world we're living in with the COVID thing, man. Nobody's like, fucking let's go sit in this little tiny room together.
Right.
I mean, it's just a weird time we're in, but he will. I mean, he's doing the same thing you did. He's only playing that snare. He's got the little pad and he's fucking beating the shit out of that. I'm like, what are you learning? And he's like, I'm doing my rudiments. I'm like, okay. And 3 weeks later, hey, what are you learning? I'm fucking still doing my rudiments. It's like, he just keeps doing it. But had you not gotten that support and the beatings to continue to practice, you'd have never been able to play that Kiss song the first time. You'd be like, oh, I'm sucking,
I would have quit.
You were taught.
I would have quit had I not been pushed hard. And this can go 100 ways right now, but how do you know when to push your kids and when to say no? And, my kid's in, little goofy soccer shots right now and stuff. I mean, I don't think she's not displaying anything where she's going to be a pro soccer player right now. Okay. And I don't know at what point do you see that the kid's gifted, and not that your kid has to go pro, but if she tells me she doesn't want to go, we're going, but we're going to go till the end of the season, whenever soccer shots is over. If you tell me that you really, really don't want to go, listen, you're 3.5, you're 4. Okay. Let's try something else, though. We're not just not doing something.
No, you got to motivate your kid. And my kid's been in soccer since he was like 3, okay? And he's just turned 13. And, he's getting to that point where now, kids are getting growth spurts. You got these kids out there that are like 6 feet tall, and he's only like, 4.5 feet tall. So you're in that weird growth spurt for dudes. So it's a little fucking weird. So he's like, holy shit, did that kid drive to the fucking game? I got to play against that kid. So right now with the growth spurts, some of these kids are still kids and some of these other kids are fucking adults out there on the field. They're all the same age, but so it's a little weird. And he's kind of like, man, I'm not so sure the soccer thing's for me. And I said, stick with it. You know how to play. You're fast. You're smart. Your body's going to catch up. I said, you just got to keep taking the beatings for right now. You got to stay in it. And because he's done piano since he's been a 3-year-old, he's been doing soccer since he was 3-year-old. My wife and I are like, bro, you're doing soccer and piano at least until you're 18 and you move out. After that, it's on you, but you're stuck now. This is your life. You're going to be doing soccer. You're going to, and he's not, I don't see him turning. He's not going to be playing for fucking Madrid.
Does he have to play? Does he have to play the drums?
The drums is kind of the third thing. He wanted to do that, I think, because it's cool. And his uncle's a very, very good drummer. So he's like, wow, and we got him into some drum classes and he takes it serious and they're teaching the right way. In fact, you told me, you said, man, when I was a kid, I learned the rudiments and it sucked. And you've told me that story before. And I said, okay, I want to make sure that that's the way he comes up, learn the basics, your chords and your rudiments and all your different shit, whatever instrument it is.
Yeah.
Do it the right way. At least I know it's going to suck and he's going to be fucking miserable. And we're going to have to beat on him to practice, but that's the way he's doing it. And he's getting it now because he was going through it. And you're a damn drummer. So there's the one thing you do where you start out going slow and then you just speed up, and you keep going faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, it's just called a long roll.
That's what they were working on. And they're trying to get their speed up for whatever reason. And I don't sit around and listen to his classes, but that's what he's doing right now.
There's a single stroke, there's a double stroke.
And he's doing all
work on that
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, he's working on all it. So he did it. And I said, hey, that's pretty good. So then I was like, hey, wait a minute. And I punched up an old fucking concert video from Alex Van Halen because he used to do that in concert all the time. He'd start out real slow.
Yeah.
And then he would just go. And then I pulled up some what's the old drummer? Buddy Rich?
Buddy Rich? Sure.
I pulled up this famous solo he does. And he's just as fast as lightning. And you're just like, and my son's just looking at him going,
yeah, you got to go easy on that Buddy Rich stuff, man. You want to just like throw your sticks in the garbage when you watch him play.
But I wanted to give a couple of, because my rock world influence is going to be the same old shit. But I want to, because he is learning jazz. I mean, he goes and takes jazz lessons, man. He's learning about jazz. You're in New Orleans, you better fucking learn the jazz situation. So
yeah.
I try to, give him some rock stuff. But going back to the original point, the support by parents, it's important. It really is. And sometimes the parents got to drive a little hard, Well,
nobody in your family did radio. And I don't know how many people went to college.
None.
Again, it's a similar situation,
Same thing.
My parents were very supportive. I did go to college right out of high school. And then I quit because of the band. So I was able to quit. They were so mad at me, but they weren't paying for it. And they understood that I wanted to go and I wanted to try this music thing. So they were cool about it, but even before that, my dad just always worked. And I started to get it. I got into bands when I started playing with guys that were a lot older than me when I was like 16. So I had to like get stuff signed to get to play at Mickey Rat's and, some of these other places around Buffalo. And, we did these, battles of the bands and stuff. And you had to get something signed because they knew that I was underage. But everybody was of age in the band. So, I'm already, 4 or 5 years younger than everybody in the band. And one of the shows specifically, and I remember Mickey Rat's on Main Street in Buffalo. We're not going on until it's a Thursday night too, dude. I'm still in school.
Jeez.
Okay. And I'm playing and we don't go on until like 11:30. And my dad gets off. He's working 3 to 11. From Lockport gets to Buffalo, which is probably a half-hour drive.
Oh, yeah.
My dad comes walking in at 11:30 to see me play. And that was everything. He was like that.
Jesus.
He was into it. He was so into it. And, obviously it didn't happen for me musically. Then I went back to school. You and I meet in college. We start doing this radio thing. And then the internships came up. My dad still had it in the back of his head that he wants to get me into where he works, and it was a General Motors factory and they made radiators, and where Jason was born and raised, the whole town, everybody worked at Harrison Radiator. It was, if you got that job, you were set. All you had to do then is get married, have your 2.5, get your white picket fence. I mean, you get into Harrison Radiator.
Yep.
And it's not that your life's over, but you're set, man. You're coasting. You got bennies. You got great benefits. You got great job security, all of this stuff. And that's when you go and you buy a house and you get married, and that's it. You start banging out kids.
Yep.
My dad had been there long enough. He's like, man, I'm going to get you in. And we get done with our internships and we get hired, and you and I are making $5 an hour. And it was the summer. So 94, 93, whatever it is. And he's like, I got you an apprenticeship. Because he's still like thinking, okay, let me try this. I'm going to get, because your grades and you're going to college, I got you an apprenticeship, $13 an hour. I'm going to get you $13 an hour. You come to work with me, blah, 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 blah. We'll show you around. We'll show you everything, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at my dad and I said, no. And I broke his heart. I fucking broke my dad's heart. I know I did.
Yep.
Because that's me saying, Dad, I can't even bring myself to say the words, but I didn't want your life. I wanted something better. And I didn't say that, but I felt like my dad took it as I was too good. I felt that I was too good for that. And I know I broke my dad's heart. He let me know this much. And if he let me know this much, that means his heart was broken this much.
Right.
And it's still one of those things. I mean, I don't regret it. Everything worked out. Before my dad passed away, you know, you and I were big radio stars in Buffalo, and he thought it was cool and he thought it was awesome. But there's the other story with that is my sister ended up working over there. And my sister has this story of her punching out, and my dad, she's working in another building, but my dad would come over all the time and bring her fruit roll-ups and, you know, check in on her. My dad, you know, was a big deal at the place. He knew everybody. Right. And he could just he could cruise around. He had his own little golf cart thing. So he'd always be checking in on my sister, and they're punching out at the same time one day. And he looks over at my sister and he says, man, I've been waiting a long time for this. And my sister punches out with my old man, and they're working in the same factory. That's my fucking moment. That was supposed to be me punching out with my old man and then going out for a beer afterwards. And I didn't do it. I'm better than that. I'm too good for that. I'm not doing that, Dad. And my sister has that moment. And, you know, my dad's not been around for a long time, but she has that moment with my dad. And it makes me sick. It makes me happy. It's just, that should have been my moment with my dad, but he supported me and he got it. You know, it wasn't a huge deal, but I fucking missed out on that moment. It was just, and Sue has that, you know, with my dad. Damn it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know what? That's brutal. That's brutal, because that was, you know, as a parent, and the further I go down the road as a parent, you know what? Your kid is born. Okay, go back to when you're, and anyone who's had a child, if you're in the room, it's fucking wild when that's going on. You're seeing shit, and there's business happening that you don't want to know about. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I've been down this road twice. When that kid comes out, when you first see that child, okay, every hope and dream, you just start thinking, oh my gosh, you know, and then you start having these conversations, and it's in all these thoughts. Oh, I wonder what they're going to do when they grow up. I want them to do this. I hope they can do this. Wow, I hope they're smart. I hope they can run. I hope they have all their fucking toes. You know what I mean? Like you start going through this laundry list when you first see that kid. You're like, wow, you just want everything in the world awesome to happen to that person because you brought them into the world. It's your kid. But then you start to raise the kid and you start to go down the road. And then as they get a little bit older, you start thinking, well, the world's a pretty fucked up place. It's a pretty wild place. So then you start thinking about ways to protect, because you're always going to protect that child, whether the kid is 2 years old or 22 years old, you're going to always want to protect that kid. So you start and I know my parents did the same damn thing, man. I had a job set up driving a truck in a landfill for the next 30 years, man. I was making like $12 an hour that summer. We had our internships, and my dad's like, you're in. Work this one.
You were
summer.
working with your dad.
I was working with my dad. So I had the opportunity to do it for 2 summers. I'm driving these big fucking Caterpillar dump trucks and bulldozers and shit. And believe me, dude, I still look back on that time as awesome. It was sucked as a job, but I made great money. But they had set me up, same concept, man. He got me in, he worked hard to get me in. He had to, kiss some ass. I got in, had the gig, and I had to go and I had to quit to go make $5 an hour. To go make
$5 an hour. That was the thing that just killed my dad. He's like, what? Hang on a second. I'm offering you $13 an hour. Oh, yeah. And you're telling me no for $5.
And I was set up just like you said, Harrison's, man. I was set up. I had pension in my future. I had everything ready to go. Picket fence, the wife, the kids lined up. My life should have turned out very differently. But to get to my point is, I think, and believe me, man, I've gone over this in my head for years, is my parents didn't have any fucking idea what I was trying to do with radio. They're like, you're going to do what? How are you going to do, and they were very supportive. My mom was always like, hey man, if you got a dream, follow your dream. But I think parents have this thing called a safety net. My parents had a safety net, and that was to get me a job driving a truck in a landfill, and I was going to be set for life. They had taken me from a child out of the womb, born, had hopes and dreams for me, but then over time, they created a safety net. Your dad.
Well, because they understood it. Like you said, what do you mean you're going for radio? That's not a job.
No,
that's not something that's not something that you do. That's not something that you're going to support a family. How are you going to be a man and support a family? What is radio? Who works in radio? We're Nobody the Ryans. We don't work in radio.
We don't do that. We
go in the factory, and I got you a good gig here. So there was this huge unknown. You're right.
So it was a safety net. In his parents, they did the right thing. They were creating a safety net. Your dad created a safety net. Hey, man, here you go. And that's a great thing that he was doing. My parents hooked me up with a safety net. I was good to go. I'd still be driving a truck right now, huffing asbestos and dust every day of my life, or I'd be dead. But they set up a safety net. So you have to look at it that way. And it took me a lot of years to figure this out, because I was always pissed. I'm like, what the fuck, man? They never tried to support the radio thing. I mean, they were supportive to a point, but it was always like, you should be driving that truck. Because, for how many years did we fucking eat shit? $5 an hour.
Struggled.
$7. It was a couple of years, and
that $5 an hour, it wasn't just, a summer thing. I mean, it was a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I had to move back into my parents' fucking house. And yes, that was supportive. Don't get me wrong, but it was miserable because I had moved out. I had my own place. I was already rocking and rolling. The bank account dwindled pretty quick when you're only making $5 an hour. I fucking ran out of rent money. My car was falling apart. I was fucked.
Yeah.
I moved back home, and that was a shit show, man. My mom and I didn't get along at all. Now we're great because we don't live together. You know what I mean? But it was brutal, but they were supportive in their own way. And it wasn't until much later when, neighbors started to say, hey, man, I was listening to the radio, and was that your kid on the radio? And then they started to realize, oh, holy shit. He's fucking doing it. He's doing something that nobody's supposed to be doing. And to go back even farther, Rod, you know this. When I was in high school, we used to fill out these forms, right? You fill out these forms. What are you going to do? You'd be in 10th grade. What do you think you want to do when you leave school? And they just had these sheets, and you
had to fill it out with your guidance counselor.
Yeah, you sit down with your guidance counselor and you fucking fill it out. I'm pretty good at mechanics, so I go be a mechanic. I was good with cars and parts and shit, and I knew how to do this. So you just fill out your. They started funneling you.
That was the worst thing ever.
It was, because they were trying to fucking funnel you down into what you were going to do, and me not having good grades. I'd go in 10th grade, and my guidance counselor, and I've told this story to my fucking wife, and she's like, "Fuck that guy." And his name was Mr. Scalzo. Okay. Very cool guy. Awesome dude. Didn't like him, but he was the driving factor in my life of radio, because I sat down there, 10th grade. I got shit grades. He goes, so Jason, what do you think you want to do when you leave Lockport High School? And I said, I want to work in radio. I want to be a DJ. He goes, well, you're pretty good with your hands. You could, go, we can get you into vocational school. You could go learn how to fucking install heating and electricity and shit, which I could have done too. And so I was like, fuck that guy, So then 11th grade, same conversation. What are you going to do? I want to be a DJ. I want to work in radio. And at this point, I'm starting to do more research. I'm starting to learn more shit about it. Senior year, in the fall of senior year, he goes, what do you want to do? Because you got to make a decision. You got to go to college. You got to do something. He goes, I can get you into this mechanic school. I can get you here. I can get you there. I said, I'm going to be in radio, and this is what's going to happen. I said, I just give me somewhere I can go to a college that doesn't cost a lot of money because I'm paying for it. I won't have grades for scholarships. So get me into the community college down the street. I need to get an internship. I get an internship. I can take it from there. And that's what I told the dude. He goes, it's never going to fucking work, dude. You're never going to make it. He told me I was never going to make it. He said, it's never going to happen. He says, you really should go into this school over here and learn how to fix transmissions. I'm like, no. So I finally, okay. He puts together a plan, sends me over to community college. Boom. I start out there. First day at community college. I'm sitting in the class. I'm in a audio production class where you learn how to edit tape and make commercials and shit. Sitting there, first day of school, and I am fucking fired up, dude. I'm actually doing this thing. I'm in a radio class. Holy shit. This is the greatest day of my life so far. teacher goes, all right, everybody in this class, who here thinks you're going to make it in the radio? I put my hand up real fast. I'm like,
it was that blind motherfucker because he did the same thing to my class.
He did it to everybody. I put my hand up so high.
Dave, was it Dave something?
His name was Dave. He's blind as dumb dog. We used to feed his dog gum because he was a dick.
Shiner.
Yeah, don't feed the dog. So we fucking fed his dog. Fuck that. And he says, nobody's going to make it. Nobody. And I go to my next fucking radio class and everyone in that class, the teacher's like, nobody's going to make it. You're never going to make it.
Dude, that guy, because you started school before me. So I was still trying to play in bands and I was trying to, radio was a fallback for me. I had that same class with that asshole. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure how blind he was because we'd always try to go through the class with the lights off. And he always knew if the lights were off because somebody was giggling. Yeah. He's like, okay, the lights off, turn the lights on. I'm like, dude, are you blind? But he did that same bit. He goes, okay, raise your hand. How many people want to be on the radio? And everybody in the class raises their hand. And then he called out a name and because he couldn't see. He's like, well, how many people have their hands up? And somebody said, well, it looks like, 3/4 of the class or everybody. And he's like, okay, put your hands down because you'll be lucky if one of you makes it.
Yep.
Like, shit, dude. It's day one, man. He started all his classes with that. What an asshole.
And then when we went to the college radio station down the hall, you're starting to talk to these guys and it's like, no one's going to make it. No one's going to make it. And I remember going up and I had another audio production guy and he was kind of a mellow dude. It was a lot of old failed radio guys. I think they were just disgruntled workers,
right?
Teachers. And I said, he did the same thing. And I'd already been there a semester and I was getting pretty good at all the editing and shit. And I was figuring stuff out. And he did the whole bit. Who thinks they're going to work in radio? And everyone's got their hands up. And he goes, none of you are going to make it. And I kept my hand up. And I go, I swear to God, dude. I go, I'm going to make it. I just said it like that. I go, I'm going to make it. Now, I didn't know I was going to make it, but I was like, you know what? And everybody. And
that's shitty. That's shitty teaching, man. That's awful.
But it's the driving factor. Anytime I get pissed off, I go back and think of those guys and I go, you know what? Fuck those guys. I'm going to keep driving harder and harder and work harder and harder to get to my goal, whatever it is in life now, but I use them as motivation. My wife says, if I'm not satisfied or I'm not happy or, I'm not getting something I need to get done. She's like, what would fucking Mr. Scalzo say? Dude, I fucking turn into the Hulk, man. I get all green and bulk up and I get pissed. And, but I guess the point I'm making here is you're not always going to have a very good support system. You got to fucking figure out what you want to do and go do it. It's the end of the day.
Right.
You got to drive your own bus, man. You got to,
But I got to give a lot of props to my parents though. I mean, they supported me. Yeah, your dumb kid wants to be a rock star. No kidding. Everybody's kid wants to be a rock star. All right. Well, and they supported me. They let me do my thing. And then, I came to them and I said, I'm quitting the band. I just said, I gave it a try. I told them I'm quitting the band. They're like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to school for radio. What? Come on. Come on. I can get you in, man. The factory. Let's go. I go, no, man, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do it right this time. I'm going to really do it. Because I wasn't ready for college. When I went right out of 12th grade, community college, it was 13th grade. That's all it was. I was already, I'm paying for it and I'm skipping classes and doing all. It's like, okay, I wasn't ready for it. So then I did the band thing for a while. My parents were cool with it, a little nervous because your kid's out there and I have a van. I'm driving all over the place. We're playing up in Canada and all over the place. And I have a van.
Yeah.
My mom's like, I don't want grandkids right now. Just be smart, please.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I'm not, look, and I want to be careful about this because I'm not, when I say I was going to be a dump truck driver the rest of my life, I'm not shitting on that job. Factory, dude, believe me, I'd have been fine with it. I'd have done it. But I had something in my head that said, I got to try something else. I've got this burning desire to do this radio thing, so, I want to make sure, because I know there's people that drive trucks every day that listen to this. Believe me, that's cool. Do your thing. It's all good. But I had to give
That's
it a rip.
wild that you were thinking radio the whole time. I was nowhere near radio. I mean, I loved radio. It was always a huge part of my life, and music was always a part of my life. So radio was huge. I never even once considered that being a job. And I was so focused. I was so focused on music. And that was, it was as simple as I knew one kid that was taking radio, and we had done some radio interviews when I was in the band. We even did one in the local radio station in Buffalo. It was cool, like a Sunday night with Double J, Jeff Johns. And it was the 97 Rock music papers or something like that, where he featured local bands. Yeah. So it was cool, man. I was in the radio station, and I said, this is kind of cool. So when I decided to quit the band, I said, man, those radio interviews we did was pretty cool. Maybe I can interview bands. Is that a job? Is that a radio? Can I go to school? Can I go to school to interview bands? I can't be the band, but I can interview bands.
Yeah,
it was as simple as that, dude. It was as dumb as that. Okay, well, that was kind of cool going to those stations. Maybe I'll do something at a radio station. That's exactly how it worked. Then I called my buddy Larry, who was taking communications classes, and I said, hey, what do you do? What do you can I do that? You weren't any smarter than me in high school. Can I do what you do? He's like, yeah, you can do it. I'm like, okay.
And I want to make it clear too, my parents, while they were supportive, they didn't understand what I was trying to do, I think, is a situation. They were always there. Hey, okay, well, how was work? How was the radio station thing? Oh, it was great. What'd you do? And I try to explain it. It's like, you can't explain what you do all day because nobody knows what you're fucking doing behind the scenes, but they were always supportive, but it took them a long time. And they were very, they had that same kind of look on their face when I said, I got to quit driving a truck. And that was weird for a few years, man. It was very bizarre, but you know what? You gotta fucking chase that fire. If there's something you want to do, man, you got to do it. I mean, look at what Dave Grohl's doing. He quit school, and his mom, Virginia, is that her name? His mom, Dave Grohl.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, his mom said, "You better be good." That was a difference. She just didn't. She knew that school wasn't for him. He was a fuck up in school, and she knew he loved playing the drums and he practiced all the time. And he said he quit. She's just said, "You'd better be good."
Right.
You're going to go do this. And, she must have seen something in him to go, wow, this is nuts, as a school teacher, to let him go. Dave Grohl's father was 76 when he passed away in 2014. He was born in 1938. So he's a lot more old school,
Sure. I just never heard Dave talk about his dad until I read this article where he talks about his dad really did not support his dream as becoming a musician. And I thought, okay. I think everybody can kind of relate to that. Your parents, your parents just want great things for you. But they want great things for you. And then when you try something that they don't necessarily understand, then it's like, okay. And again, my family, we're ham and eggers. Okay.
Yeah.
We're ham and eggers. That's exactly what we are in our family. So what do you mean what is that? That's not a job. That's not a job. What is that? I don't know what these guys, where these people come from, but they don't come from our group of people that are on the radio.
They ship them in from a fucking other planet, these guys on the radio. But you know what? Eventually I said, because I always hear, no, it's never going to happen. You're never going to make it. And finally I just went, somebody's got to do it. Why not me? And that became sort of my mantra for years. Somebody's got to do it. Why the fuck not me? I can do that. Okay. So there you go. That's what we're doing.
I thank Christ all the time that my band didn't get signed. Think about this.
Yeah.
I'm milling around as like some fucking Bang Tango band. You're like, who's Bang Tango? Exactly. Because you wouldn't know my band either. I mean, we were late to the party, but we got passed on. We did a showcase, and I hate to even tell people that we came close. Who knows if we came close? People looked at us. That was it. We were in some sort of a conversation with some people. Thank God we didn't get signed. It would have been miserable. I'd have been on some rock cruise with my one song that we did back in 91, when Nirvana killed me. Thank God my band didn't get signed.
Well, then, you get signed, you run The record label, shoves you into debt if you don't send the album. So you're fighting that. I mean, who knows, man? You got these forks in the road constantly every day in your life. You go right, you go left, you go straight. Every choice has consequences, good or bad. So you just got to keep fucking trying to make the right decision. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thank whatever in the sky every day that I get to do this for a living, and I've gotten to do this for so long. Believe me, I do not take this gig for granted. It's the reason we do this podcast. For some damn reason, we keep doing this podcast. So we're not making any money. I must let them fucking talk. So I look at it as, you know what? A lot of luck came up along the way too. There was a lot of luck, a lot of good timing. But like I always say, you got to make your own luck. You got to be in the right place at the right time.
Let's take a short break. We'll come back and we'll do some final thoughts and we'll get out of here. Talking about New Orleans, and they're spending money. I mean, visit neworleans.com is spending some money. We talked about NOLA by NOLA that's going on right now. Pirates of the Quarter, they're spending some money. Okay.
There they are. Oh,
they want you to know. They want you to know that the pirate tours are going on in the French Quarter. The New Orleans that you love, you hear me talking about it on the air all the time. The New Orleans that you love, it's back, baby. It's coming back, and every weekend is better than the weekend before. They just announced Pirates of the Quarter tours was just announced as a Travel and Hospitality Award winner for 2021. Pirates were named Innovative Tour Company of the Year. No other walking tour like it in New Orleans. There it is.
Hey, you all right there, Lunger?
Guys, you don't have to pay for this one.
Jesus Christ. What kind of half-ass shit show we got going on here, man? These people, these clients of ours, they put up a lot of a decent, really not much money at all.
Right when I started the spot, I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it.
Jesus Christ, man. And how do you do this every morning? I mean, who's carrying your fucking weight in the morning if you got to do this every time?
How about those Pirates of the Quarter? Okay, so they're named Innovative Tour Company of the Year. There's no other walking tour like it in New Orleans. I can tell you that
ruined
firsthand.
now. It's ruined. It's just ruined now. What's the point of going on?
Royal Street, Pirate Alley, Jackson Square, hearing the stories of the smuggling and the cannons and the sword fights.
Fucking matter.
So much more. Discover the pirate history on this fun and informative walking tour of the French Quarter. Spots are booking up this fall.
Not because
go to
of this
New
fucking
Orleans.
spot.
Reserve your pirate tour today. Piratesofthequarter.com. Link wherever you get this podcast. And if you missed the beginning, Pirates of the Quarter Tours just announced as a Travel and Hospitality Award winner for 2021. Congratulations to our great longtime sponsors. Who knows? Maybe they become the only sponsor on this show soon. Thank you to the Pirates of the Quarter. At Pirates of the Quarter, all their social media is great.
I would probably say after this commercial, they'll probably fucking punt as well.
I hope they don't, dude. I hope they don't.
How great is it though? And I was thinking about this the other day, is like, with the podcast, like we get to swear in the commercials. And if I was a client, I'd be like, you just fucking, as long as you talk about my product favorably, you put in any fucking weaving of words you want. You want to swear about it, you want to fucking make it cool, do it. How great would it be able to do spots like this?
Can you cough in it and choke and half die?
But it's okay. You can keep it going because you know what? That was probably the best fucking spot. It's gonna stick out. Most commercials go by like fucking wallpaper. But
let me know. Pirates of the Quarter. Halloween is just around the corner.
You can count on me. Typical train.
You scared?
Just so
Are you
know,
scared?
in case you were watching you're not watching the YouTube channel. Rod's got
Count on me.
a vampire, like what is that? A Pez dispenser?
I don't know what it is,
It
but
looks
it's
like
funny.
But like he's a count, and he's saying you can count on me. This goes back to last week where we went fucking off the rails with horror.
That was bad.
So let's not do that this week. But apparently Halloween is in your final thoughts, Rod.
Dude, I can't wait. So, I mean, you've been through the young kid thing before, but it makes it so much cooler, man. It's so much more exciting.
Yeah.
My kid picking her up from school, we drive through the neighborhood, and we're spotting pumpkins. There's a spider and there's a ghost over there and there's skulls over there. And it's getting me excited about Halloween, like in a whole new way. Like I can't wait to go out trick-or-treating. Now I don't go up to the doors. I know a lot of like dopey parents go up there with their kids and trick-or-treat. I don't do that. I as a matter of fact, I think that's lame. Now there's places around here. My house, this area goes nuts. And they give you beers and everything when you're out and about. It's really, really fun. So excited for Halloween. The decorations, though. My neighborhood, it's everybody. It's Griswold's for Halloween. Everyone's trying to outdo everybody right now.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
I'm done until I put more stuff up. So lights this past weekend. Next door over here, Kangaroo's got all the gravestones. Then he put up lights. He's got on a pulley system. He's got a thing that goes across his yard. And dude, I got to go buy more stuff.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm done until the next round comes up. But what I have is I got the 10 by 10 tent. It looks like a party when there's one of those tents up.
Always.
I bought one of those tents, dude. I don't need a 10 by 10 tent. I don't need an easy up tent. You know what? When you have a tent up, that looks like the place to be.
Always does, yeah.
I got the tent. I got the tent coming this year. And I'm not telling Sandeep. I'm not telling Kangaroo. Nobody knows. I'm busting out that tent at the last minute so nobody can get one. So I will rule again, and I'll put up some more stuff this weekend. But yeah, for me, it's just that's the one thing that's got me driving. We're busy. I wanted to give a plug for the Rod Ryan Show Cares online store, Boobs Rock, breast cancer awareness. Just heard from a listener this morning. We read an email and, these come in. It's just, it just gut punches you, stage 4 cancer, breast cancer. She's dealing with it. She's like, thanks for the show. And, giving me something to laugh about in the morning. And, it's just too many people that we know. So if you don't know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The money that we raise goes to breast cancer research. It goes to MD Anderson. It's the world's greatest cancer center. And our medical center here in Houston, it's the largest medical center in the world. So people come from all over to get treated here. So we've adopted a team of doctors. Thank you. You already mentioned that we're doing the car show. That's going to be this weekend, this Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock at Lucky's Pub West. And everybody can kind of come out to that. We're going to be selling T-shirts there. Then we got a golf tournament. To say that we're busy this month, good Lord. And then Monster Jam is coming up. Yeah, we got a golf tournament coming up the week after that. So we're raising money. We've got great sponsorship money coming in. A lot of huge people coming in. It's a lot of work. We were talking before we went on today. I just said, dude, I'm just a dumb radio guy. I'm a radio guy. No, none of us could have ever dreamed about where this job takes you and the things that you do, the people you meet. And, I'm a T-shirt salesman. For a while I was selling hot sauce. I don't care. I'll sell anything, if I can make money and use the name. And it's like, what's radio about that? It's just all a part of it. But it's a great month, and I encourage everybody to get into the store, the Rod Ryan Show Cares online store, and switch over your Amazon to Amazon Smile and pick a charity. Tessa gets so mad at me when I don't push our charity. Amazon Smile, switch over. And it's real easy to do. And then it's going to say, well, who would you like us to send money to? And there's thousands of charities. We happen to be one of them that you can switch over, and then boom. Your money will go to some of the things that we fundraise for throughout the year. So it's a great month. And we're at the halfway point, and I got to stay strong for a couple more weeks.
Maybe peel back on the fucking Camel cigarettes a little bit, Jesus Christ, dude.
What's happening here at the end?
So last week we're doing the show, right? And we're recording on a Wednesday night. So we're 20 minutes out from finishing last week. So, I don't look at my phone. I'm focused on this dumb shit for the hour and a half we do. Well, last week, as we're wrapping up the show, my phone has got like all these missed phone messages on my phone. It keeps lighting up. I'm like, fuck. Well, luckily my wife and my kid are downstairs. So I'm like, okay, it's not them. So I'm not going to freak out. And I didn't recognize the number. or the name on the message. So we're wrapping up and I'm like, well, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's get everything done. Let's do all that shit. So then I finally start checking my phone messages and I got this voicemail. Hey, I have your dog. I'm like, you got my dog?
Bro, I totally thought it was going to be the Facebook guy calling you saying, hey, dude, we're friends on Facebook. What the fuck? You're talking about my lamb chops.
No. I'm going to let that rest for a week because that's just
okay.
It's getting worse.
Your dog got out.
So my dog got out, right?
While you were doing the podcast.
While I'm doing the podcast, I let my dog out because she likes to be outside. And she's a big fucking 70-pound white husky, beautiful dog, right? Great dog.
Huskies are escape artists. This must happen all the time.
Not really. I've got a good fence. At least I did until Hurricane Ida blew my shit apart. Well, she found a little, hole to get out. Long story short, I've got a tag hanging from her. It's a skull and crossbones, and on her collar, and it's got my phone number on the back. Her name on the front, my phone number on the back. So people, anytime the dog gets out, people go, "Hey, what's up?" And then they call my number. So it's great. So this chick calls me up and she's like, hey, I've got your dog. And so I immediately call her right back. I'm like, holy shit. I call her back. I said, hey, oh my God, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I said, I've been tied up. I said, do you still have my dog? And she's like, yeah, me and my friend are sitting here and we're like 6 blocks away from my house.
Oh shit.
I'm like, damn, that dog can go. And she's like, hey, I'll stay here for a couple more minutes. I've got places to go. But yeah, I said, I will be there in, a minute and a half. So I'm fucking wearing my underwear. I'm not literally dressing up for this podcast, obviously. I got some short shorts on.
Hey, bro, you're wearing shorts, okay? I don't know where this underwear thing came out, but okay. I'm glad you're wearing underwear.
Short shorts, dude. I got one of my fucking shorty shorts on for the podcast and stink and I look like shit. I fucking haul ass down the street. I got 2 different shoes on because, people are waiting with my fucking dog. It's not their responsibility. I show up. My dog's like, looks at me like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Dude, these chicks were fucking dressed to the nines.
Hot.
Supermodel hot, dude.
Come on.
And they're just sitting there in their little mini skirts and their SUVs on the side of the road playing with my fucking dog. And I sit there and I walk up and I'm just, in your head, you don't think you're as old as you are. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be cool. I got fucking white socks pulled up over my calves, wearing shorts. I look like a fucking mailman in my shorts.
Old man river rolling
I
in
look
there.
like an idiot, right? And I'm just trying to be nice. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for watching my dog. I'm like, I'm so sorry to get back to you. I do this podcast.
My name's Jason. What are your guys' names? What do you do?
So she goes, you do a podcast? I go, yeah. She goes, oh, that's cool. What's it called? I go, Playpan. She goes, I fucking love it. You and Rod are great.
Stop.
Dude, she fucking listens to the podcast. You think I got her name? You think I felt fucking creepy guy then? She goes, oh, yeah. Oh my God, that's you. I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's great. Keep up the good work and see you later. Bye. And God, do a better job with your dog. I go,
she listens to the podcast?
Dude, I was in stunned mode for a lot of different reasons. I was fucking stunned. Who's fucking listening to this podcast?
Nobody.
Okay? Nobody. She is. Hi, mystery.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, hot chick, for watching Jason's dog.
Chick for watching my damn dog. Yeah, dude. How fuck?
Should have brought this or this.
That's what I looked and sounded like probably every time I opened my mouth to that girl. You know what I mean? Like it sounded awful. So there you go. Hey, Rod, at least somebody's fucking listening to this mess.
Okay. That's great news.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird night. I'm glad I got my dog back. At the end of the day, that's all I cared about. I want my fucking dog back.
If anybody is still listening, thank you very much. Appreciate it. If you could subscribe to all of our shit, that's it. And go and just click on a like and stuff on things that we do. That's what we need.
It helps.
We need, this. Do some of this. Get involved. Give us your top 5s, okay? Top 5 Chili Pepper songs. Guy did send me, I keep forgetting to bring his email in. It's not that strong. It's okay. If you have an idea and if it's not great, I'm going to tell you that it's not great.
It's okay.
He sent me an email. He heard my voice in the beginning of Runaway Jury. And he said, holy shit, Rod, your voice is in the beginning of that movie. He goes, I've seen that movie 20 times. Yeah. I've just never seen the intro of it. He said, do a list of movies that you've never seen the intro of the movie. I said, that's a little tough. That's a little specific.
Yeah,
but I can't tell you the opening scene of Shawshank Redemption. I don't know how. I mean, I know that there's a murder and he's going home, but I can't tell you how it all plays out. The first 20 minutes of Shawshank Redemption, I really couldn't tell you. I could tell you everything about the movie once he hits the jail. I know every single thing to the end. Yeah. But yeah, I guess there's a couple of movies that are like, I mean, does anything come to mind? Just, I'm putting you on the spot. Movie that you just don't know the beginning of.
I know the beginning of Braveheart, but I never catch it. I couldn't really tell you. Shawshank, I don't know what the opening credits look like. I swear to God, I think they just cut it off and get right to the jail sequence. I don't think they show the opening on Shawshank, but Braveheart was on the other. Actually, last night, Braveheart was on. I was like, well, all right, I'm washing dishes. All right, let me put this on. I've only seen it a fucking 1,000 times, but I've never seen it at the beginning. It seems like I always catch it the same damn time. And there's a lot of movies like that.
So maybe it's not a bad idea, but he thought that would be, he's like, yeah, movies that you don't know how they start. I'm like, wow, it's very specific, but
that is an odd thing.
Send us your ideas, man, for top fives for sure.
Yeah, because all I do is fucking go down rabbit holes for the week afterwards. I listen to more music and just, expanding my horizons a little bit as far as pop culture goes. Anyway.
All right, that's enough.
I'm done. Fuck it. I'm out. See you later.
Later, guys. Thank you.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Playpants Pod.